Hi, my name is Kweku Bani and welcome to my complete beginner Photoshop lesson. Photoshop is one of the most widely used softwares out there, especially when it comes to graphic designing, because you can do the impossible with it, you can do exploit with it. It is so popular and it's one of the skills that you need to learn. It can fetch you good money. And so at the end of this course, I promise you, you're going to know almost everything you need to know about Photoshop. I've been doing this for about 10 years now, and I have a lot of experience on the table. I just want to show you for free, of course. And so grab a pen and a paper and let's do this. So what's up, guys? Welcome to my complete beginner Photoshop lesson. The first thing we are going to do is show you how to open an image, right? You pick your image and you just pull it into Photoshop. So simple as ABCD. Let's cancel it. You go to where your image is, click and drag it. Just leave it somewhere here. It's just open. Then you can start working on it. But then I told you this tutorial is going to be about settings, and that is what I am going to do. So go to edit, click on the arrow down here, click on preference, and then click on interface. Now this is to help you customize your document and make it ready for you to use to design your stuff that you want to do, right? So you click on this color theme. It gives you a different color theme. You can click here, you can click here, you can actually click here, and then it changes the color to a different color that you want. I always thought people were using different Photoshop than I was doing, even though we're all using perhaps Photoshop CC 2020 or Photoshop C6 something. I always assumed that they were using a different Photoshop than I was, because the color was different. It took me time to actually understand that you can actually customize your own Photoshop, make it friendly to you yourself. But I like this color, so I stick with this particular color. Also, let's go to the standard screen mode. You click on default and then experiment with the color that you want. Let me push this so you can see everything clearly. Click here, change to the colors that you want, right? Or default, you can choose black. You can even choose a red color if red is your favorite. Red is your favorite color, right? You can choose red as well. Perhaps this is how you love to work. You can do that. I mean, I don't know why you would do that, but you can do that. But you can do that, right? So let's send it back to default. All right. I like my stuff this way. So these are the basic two things you are going to do over here. Then you go to performance. Now I would advise you leave everything this way. This is the memory Photoshop has allocated for me to use, and so I actually want to leave it this way. But what you want to do is make sure your use graphic processor is ticked. This is so important. Make sure it's ticked. This way your graphic processor, if you have it, is also going to help you a lot. Your Photoshop runs smoothly, and then if you want advanced settings, you can also click and then click stuff here, but I advise you just check this one and leave it that way. Secondly, we have the history stage. Every Photoshop work you do will have history, because history has to do with the past. And anytime you design and you want to go back, that is history. Perhaps you did something and you just want to go back a little bit because you want to correct certain things, you want to go back. I have set mine to 50. That means I can go back 50 times. I can go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 50 times. You can actually set it to 100,000, up to 1,000 actually. You can actually set it to up to 1,000, but I like to keep mine at 50. Why do I keep mine at 50? Simply because the higher your history state, the more likely your Photoshop will freeze or will become inefficient, or there'll be more pressure on it. And so I like to keep it at 50. But I also like to keep it at 50 because I design in a non-destructive way. I will speak about that in the following videos as well. Every graphic designer needs to design in a non-destructive way. If you design in a destructive way, then you have to go back and stuff like that. So I keep mine at 50. Also go to file handling. Where are you? File handling. And I advise you do nothing over here but just this. Make sure you automatically save recovery information every whatever minutes is selected. Okay, make sure here is ticked. Also make sure here is selected. I like to use 10 minutes. What is that is that even if your light goes off, or perhaps you have a problem with your computer, or perhaps your Photoshop crashes, you will have your file or your document saved for you. That is, if every 10 minutes it will save it temporarily for you, so that when you open Photoshop again, it will pop up for you. So you can set it to 5 minutes, but I advise you never go 30 minutes or 1 hour. It is deadly. Very deadly. The last thing I'm going to show you is scratch disk. Scratch actually means temporary file. Temporary. Just temporary file. And a scratch size is a virtual memory set aside for your Photoshop to actually work efficiently on your hard drive. So it's a virtual memory on your hard drive that Photoshop has set it aside, so that when you open Photoshop, it will be able to use that memory, rely on that memory to work faster for you. So that's actually what a scratch size is. And so you see my scratch disk, the memory is 15 gig. It means that 15 gig has been set aside on my hard disk to actually make sure Photoshop runs efficiently and effectively. I could change it a lot. I could change it where it needs to go, but I like to use it on drive C. That's basically what I need to do. I will speak a little more on scratch size, but then this is what you need to do, and then you click on OK. And that brings us to our second segment, which is your keyboard shortcuts. Every graphic designer needs to master shortcuts. I mean, not all shortcuts, that's almost impossible, but you need to know shortcuts. There are shortcuts for everything. Basically, that's what I want to tell you. There are shortcuts for everything. Everything here has its own shortcuts. You can see shortcuts over here. You can go to image, you can see shortcuts over here. Go to type, go to select, shortcuts over here. Some of them you cannot click on them because they are grayed out. But there are shortcuts everywhere. Shortcuts everywhere. I do photo retouching a lot. I retouch wedding photos, personal photos, birthday photos. Sometimes there are a lot, you see. And one of the tools that you are going to use is the blur. Or one of the things that you are going to do is to blur images, especially when you are going to photo retouch. I will show you how to photo retouch in subsequent videos as well. But then you go to filter, you go to blur, and then you go to Gaussian blur. And that is what I do every single time. I go to filter, I go to blur, I go to Gaussian blur. It was so tedious. I mean, every single time, if I have 50 pictures, can you imagine each and every single one of them? I need to go there. And so I actually go to edit, go to keyboard shortcuts, click on it, and then you see all of them here, right? Let me close it so I can see it clearly. So you can see file, edit image. You can see it over here as well. File, edit image. You can see layer, type, select. You can see layer, type, select. So basically everything here is also over here. I have set my shortcuts to filter. Like I told you, I always go to filter, I go to blur, and I go to Gaussian blur. Now you can see my Gaussian blur is set to Control B, but it's likely your Control B is different, and so that means that your space here is actually different. Your Control B will be somewhere here. Image, go here, go to adjustments, and then go to color balance. Yours is going to be somewhere here, right? You are never going to use adjustments over here. You are never going to use them. You are never going to use them. I'll explain that in a different tutorial for you. And so the Control B over here is lying idle. Okay, because everything I'm going to teach you means a lot in the long run, because I actually want you to become a very good graphic designer. You are never going. These ones are toxic. They are toxic. There are other alternatives to do this. Okay, so every shortcut over here, you're actually not going to use it. So the Control B that you see over here, let's bring it to good use, right? let's put it where we actually need it most, and that is filter, that is blur, and that is Gaussian blur. So just click on it, click Control, hold it and press B, and then to actually set it for you. So Control B and then set it for you. Then click on accept, and that is it. Like that, it just sets it for you. And so when you want to blur something, all you need to do is Control B. You see, it blurs it for you. Then you can select how you want it to be. That's Gaussian blur. Again, just click on it, hold Control and then click on B. It just pops out like that for you. I don't need to go filter, I don't need to go to blur, I don't need to go to Gaussian blur for it to pop up. It's a long process. By the time I do that, I'm sure 5 years would have already passed, you see. And so we don't want to do that. Shortcuts work a lot. That's the only shortcut that you are going to do. I showed you how to open a document, right? Click here and you just drag it in there. That is how you open a document. Simple. But what if you want to create a new document? If your client comes to you and says that, yo, I want you to design this flyer for me, the dimension is this and that. You just cannot pick an image and just drag it in there. You need to create a definite size for the person, because that's the size the person wants. And if you are going to get paid, you need to do what the client wants. What? Because the client is always right. It makes sense, right? So let's cancel this for a moment. So you open your Photoshop, this is what you are going to see. You go to create new, and then you see these settings over here, and then you choose it. Okay, so you can come to photo, it will show you the presets to choose from. We have landscape. It has different presets. You can come to print, show you different sizes to choose from. And by the way, the sizes are in inches, and so that's 8.5 inch by 14 inch. You can also come to art and illustration. You can come to web. You can come to mobile. You can design for the mobile screen. Let's click on it and let's see how it looks like. So see, this is how it looks like, right? You could also come to film. Shows you different sizes for digital screens, or perhaps for filming and stuff like that. If you select any of these, you would have to download it. That means you need to have access to internet, and you click on it, and then you come to download, and then to download for you. Sometimes you don't find your size or your preset over there, and so you need to type them over here. The first thing you do is to type your name, the name of the document. Let's just say flyer for Seth Bani. Then you fix in your settings. Now this is also very important. I hope you have your pen and you are writing this down. When it comes to document setting, or let me say new document setting, there are two things that you need to consider. Are you designing for digital screens? That is, are you designing for social media handles? Are you only going to see your flyers on your phone, your tablet, your computer, your laptop, or perhaps a TV screen? If you're going to watch it on a screen, the settings is different than when you want to print it hard copy and fill it with your hands. If you're going to print it out, use 1, 2, 3, these 3 inches, centimeters, and millimeters. Now these are real life measurements. You cannot give a tape measure to somebody and say, yo, I want you to measure this cloth for me in 15 pixels, right? I mean, the person will be like, what? So you always want to keep it in inches, centimeters, and millimeters. Most designers convert their documents into feet, because when they go to print, the printer man will tell them that, yo, I'll do the measurements in feet. And so what's the feet? And so you have to do the feet and then give it to them. But then these are the 3 measurements that you are going to use. And so once you have it sorted out, you can type in your, let's say, 10 by 50 inches. And then you type the resolution. The resolution actually deals with the quality. How quality do you want it to be? If you want it to be a minimum quality, just set it to maybe around 100. always set your resolution to 72 to 300. 72 being the minimum, to 300 being the maximum. And that is what I do. Anytime I design something for a client that I know I am going to print, I set it to 300 resolution, and I always get the maximum quality out of it. Alright, so let's just say we set here to 20 inch. Let's name it let's set here to 20 inch. Let's set here to let's just say 10 inch. Height is 10 inch, right? The resolution, let's set it to 300. Nice. The next thing is your color mode. We select CYMK when we want to print. Anytime you want to print it, set it to CYMK, and then you change the bit to 8-bit. Leave it like that if it's 8-bit, and then you click on create. Let's click on create and see how it's going to be like. So it's going to be like this. Alright, so this is how you're going to have it. So basically, put your size there, choose the measurement you want, set it to 300, 72 to 300 depending on the quality you want. If it's printing, you set it to CYMK, and then 8-bit over here, and then click on create. Now sometimes you type 20 here and you type 10 here, then you realize that, oh man, damn, I wanted 10 to be here and 20 to be here. You don't have to delete and come and type it here. All you have to do is just click here and then just flips it. 10 goes here, 20 comes here. You realize it, flip it back again, 20 goes here, 10 comes here. It's as simple as that. The second thing I want to talk about is if you want to design for digital screens, for your social media handles, or for just a screens. You come here and then you choose pixels. Like I said earlier on, pixels is not a real life measurement. It is a virtual measurement on screens. It is not in real life. Okay, so I said normally when I'm designing for social media, I like to design square flyers a lot. So I type 1000 here, and I type 1000 here, and I type the name of the flyer. Let's just say church flyer, right? And then the pixels or the resolution here does not really matter. I could set it to 1, I could set it to 1000. It's still the same. The quality does not matter, okay? Because when it comes to pixels, this is the quality. If you want the quality to be good, you boost it up to 2000 or more. If the pixels is 20 by 20, you know that the quality has reduced, and so the more the pixels over here, the more quality it has. The resolution has nothing to do with the quality when it comes to pixels or designing for screens. And so normally I like to set mine at 1000, and then you change the color mode to RGB. RGB is for digital screens. RGB is for digital screens. I can't emphasize this enough. Let me share this example with you. There was a time that I designed a flyer for a client, and I always design for digital screens, so I used RGB, right? And then when this client came, I forgot to change the RGB to CYMK when I was editing, when I was creating the document. So I left it at RGB, and then I clicked on create, and I started working on this document. When I was done, I saved it on a drive and I gave it to the printer to print for me. The printer did not do the correction. He did not change it from RGB to CYMK for me. He just took it and then he just printed it. And when it came out, the colors were different colors. Some of them were lighter, some of them were deeper. There were some colors I never included in it that were just showing up, and I was like, whoa, what is this? So I went back to the document and I realized it was RGB. The lesson is that if you are designing for the screens, the color mode is different. When you are designing for printing, the color mode is different as well. So I'm designing for the screens, RGB of course, and then you click on create, and that is how you create it. Is this how I always create my document? Do I always go here and then click here and then no, I don't do that. That's not how I design my documents. I basically click on Control N. It pops up and I design. So I could just create it. Click on Control N, pops up. I design, I create. Control N comes, I fill in the details, I create. This way I save a lot of time. And so guys, thank you very much for watching this video to the end. See you at the next video. I love you all. Peace out.